For my passion project, I took the cooking category as I've always been interested in the culinary arts. I decided on making eggs from around the world as it is an extremely diverse cooking scene with hundreds of different recipes from around the world. Because of this, I've made 5 different egg dishes from around the world to make, taste, and reveal their cultural background. For our first dish, we have sunny side up eggs. This is a classic American breakfast dish, which consists of an egg fried in a pan on one side and cooked until the white is solid while the yolk remains runny. They are typically referred to as sunny side up eggs, while there are also regional names for it such as dippy eggs in parts of Iowa, Pennsylvania, and in Pittsburgh. This name is due to the common practice of dipping toasted breads into the yolk of the egg, acting as a sauce. The variation I made was sunny side up eggs with cracked pepper served on toast. I like them this way as when you cut into the egg, the yolk acts as a sauce for the toast underneath. Overall, this is a classic dish, but it's also very delicious and it can go with most breakfasts. I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. For our next dish, we have kai jiao. Kai jiao is a Thai omelet that is made with eggs, fish sauce, cornstarch, or rice flour, lime juice, and it is fried in hot oil. This dish is typically served on white jasmine rice by itself, or with other dishes or a sauce. This dish was my first venture into the more odd egg recipes. The flavors were nothing new, but the method of cooking, deep frying an omelet, was very interesting to me. It was quite easy to cook, but when it expanded in the pan, it ended up growing much more than I anticipated. Luckily, it fit into my wok pan. The taste was pretty good. It was a salty, limey egg, but the texture was the best part. It was crispy on the outside, but a perfect softness on the inside, creating a great balance. I'd recommend this to anybody that wants to make it, as it really wasn't that hard to make. I would give this a solid 7 out of 10 for the texture, but I feel like there wasn't that much flavor in it. Now this one took the longest. It took around 40 minutes to make, and that is the shakshuka. Shakshuka is a tomato dish with vegetables and eggs cooked on the stove and in the oven, served with a crusty bread. It originated in either Morocco, the Greater Middle East, or from Yemen. It is also very popular in Spain, with a variation of it being served with manchego cheese on it. The version I made had diced tomatoes, tomato paste, onions, garlic, cumin, bell peppers, eggs, and parsley. Everything except the eggs are sautéed in the pan together on the stovetop until it forms a thick sauce. The eggs are then cracked into the sauce, and the pan is placed into the oven until the eggs are just cooked. The shakshuka is then served, and you dip the bread into the runny eggs of the sauce to get a bit of it all. It's very good while there was still egg for it. However, the yolk mixed very well with the tomato, bell pepper, and spices to make a zesty yet sweet flavor. However, after the egg was gone, there was pretty much only the sauce left. It was overly sweet and almost unbearable. Unfortunately, this was probably my least favorite of the dishes. I would rate it a 6 out of 10. For our second to last dish, I made Chinese egg pudding. This dish is a traditional Chinese steamed egg pudding consisting of eggs, milk, and sugar or salt. The 2 main variations of this dish are sweet and savory, although the savory version is much more popular. If I had made it savory, it would have been salt instead of sugar, and could be topped with a drizzle of soy sauce and minced chives. This is very similar to a custard and is just as good. You stir it by heating the milk and the sugar together, then letting it cool. In the video, the milk with the sugar is in the jar as I prepared it earlier. You then mix the egg with the milk while trying to incorporate as little air as possible. This mixture is then pressed through a sieve to eliminate all remaining air bubbles, then wrapped in foil and steamed in a pot. The taste was very nice, eggy with a hint of sweetness. The texture was amazing. It was smooth and creamy, mixing with the flavors to create probably my favorite of the egg dishes. I would rate this a solid 9.5 out of 10. For our final egg dish, we have Scotch eggs. They're a European staple as a pub food, something to eat while you drink, especially in the UK. They originated in Yorkshire, England, and Whitby. They adopted the name of Scotch eggs as the main store that sold them, William J. Scott and Sons. The original name may have been scorched egg, as in cooked over an open flame. They're made out of a hard-boiled egg covered in sausage, rolled in breadcrumbs, and fried, although they were originally just covered in fish paste. This recipe was relatively easy to make. First, you hard-boil the eggs and let them cool. The eggs are then covered in flour, covered with a mixture of sausage, dried onions, and salt, then dipped in raw eggs and rolled in breadcrumbs. In the recipe, they were baked as opposed to fried, and I definitely feel that they would be better if they were fried. The taste was a simple sausage, although the recipe called for what I thought was too much salt. If you put less salt, the dish would be a solid 8 out of 10. In conclusion, as you can see, all the dishes were different in their own respect, each filled with different, diverse, and powerful flavors. All these dishes were spawned due to the needs and available resources of different areas. I did my best to recreate these recipes, and I'm proud to say that I think I did it quite excellently. Thank you all for going with me on this trip of eggs around the world.